Ryan, I do believe we're ahead of the curve. We've been calling it World War III for a while now. And I don't know if people have been following up. There was a Pentagon leak. Some 21-year-old gaming nerd leaked a bunch of Pentagon files to his friends. I don't know if it was
Minecraft or something.
Yeah, I don't know. He's trying to seem cool or whatever. I don't know. But one thing that's really interesting: Pentagon leak reveals 14 U.S. troops that are in Ukraine. This is boots on the ground. Boots on the ground.
It's got to be more than 14, surely. Unless they're like what level? What ranking are these 14 officers, David? I'm sure they're just some grunt army men, or I'm sure there's no 4 or 3 or 1-star generals or professors.
This would be defined as moving goalposts, Ryan.
Well, it's just
I present the idea that we're at World War III. You've presented this idea. And the idea is, well, we're not, because we're not really involved. We're just sending them some money, which, by the way, I sent you a message that they were using that money and funneling it.
A couple $1 million.
Yeah, but we're just sending them money and ammunition, just trying to help out. Well, what if there were boots on the ground? Well, maybe if there were boots on the ground. Hey, there's boots on the ground. Well, the guy who leaked it is an extreme right-winger. I'm sorry, can we talk about the things that came from the Pentagon leak, or are we just going to call this guy an extreme right-winger because he's a gun enthusiast?
Well, he's just a gun toter. Is that what you're telling me, David?
That's what they said. He's an extreme right-winger.
You know, I initially saw when I saw the Pentagon leak, I didn't think if it was real or not, or a disinformation campaign by Russian governments, or because you really don't know. And especially when people are young, they're highly impressionable. We're talking a video game guy too, like the community that's spread. And, you know, I'm now seeing articles talk about how there is Russian mercenaries or accounts that are ran by Russians or Americans, and they're posing as Russian, and it's using game profiles like Xbox gamer tags and stuff. So it's odd that you're kind of seeing all this language being dropped in the same week as well. David, what exactly was in this leak? At least that you wanted to cover, other than 14 boots on the ground, because...
Well, so there are a few different things, but that was the thing I found most interesting, but I did also send you, and I believe this came from that same leak, and I'll just read it off my phone here, but Ukraine war, Zelensky embezzled $400 million of allocated funds by the U.S. for purchasing fuel.
And that guy came to the house of We the People and lectured us about not providing aid to him, and that our sons and daughters are going to have to go over there and fight a war that is basically between less corrupt and a little less corrupt.
Well, that's exactly what he said, and we covered that. And I remember people said, well, it's misinformation. He didn't say that. And I was like, well, here's the video clip of him saying it. Well, he didn't mean that they were going to go to war and die.
Well, 14 boots on the ground, there's 14 possibilities right there.
It sounds like that's what's happening. And I don't think any of them have died at war yet, but certainly why are we risking it, right? Why are we risking their lives in a war that what do we have to do with this?
It's so insane to me that they would even report that it's 14. There's more than 14 people there. The government and the military's main job is deception. Like, there's no way there's just 14 people there. How many pieces of equipment are there? Like, you're not telling me you're not going to... What was the point of giving the Ukraine people all this stuff if they already were capable of arming it? We gave them all this ammunition, but they're supposed to know how to use it right away. I'm not an idiot. Give me a break. You have to train all these people on this hardware that you're giving them.
Well, I'm sure that's what the 14 people are doing. They're just training all the Ukrainian troops.
Oh, I'm sure 14 for 14
million. Yeah, I'm sure they're not going into battle. They must just be training.
It really is interesting. Moving the goalpost, David, back to your little point you had there. Not that it was a little point, but semantics are important at this point because we are dabbling in World War. But moving the goalpost is putting it slightly. This is like sleight of hand. This is House of Cards.
Yeah. Keep in mind, too, while everybody's eyes are on the ball, there's two balls that you should really be eyeing up. And China's getting dangerously close to invading Taiwan. And if that happens, shit is going south fast.
Well, Taiwan's not a country, David, so we don't have to worry about it.
Oh, right? That's right. Well, China, right. It's part of China. Why would China invade itself?
Yeah, that's weird. It's weird. It's kind of like when Germany was invading countries that used to be part of Germany, and everybody was like, nah, it's fine. It's German territory. It was occupied by German for a century.
Oh, you mean like Russia with parts of Ukraine?
It's It's weird how all these old themes,
Oh, is
David,
that
keep
different?
recycling back here.
I forgot it was different when Russia did it.
Yeah, I mean, what more do you say, David? I did a personal stream about this, but we've said it here on the channel too that we're not waiting to hear that it's World War III. Boots on the ground. We have proof. David and I are vindicated. We were correct. YouTube can fuck off. You can censor us. You can try to do whatever. I'll make 75 channels. David and I will make 100 channels to prove you guys wrong. Dave and I can judge the shit from our living room. Everybody at YouTube that bans these videos, that prevents this information from getting out, are taking place in the tyranny of World War III that is against us. I'm not kidding. This is 100% verified. There's boots on the ground in Ukraine. That is the definition of war. I don't care if Congress has to sign a declaration of war or not. Considering they haven't used those since Vietnam, it doesn't matter. These people are tyrants, and YouTube and all the people that censor the information are taking explicit steps to censor this for a reason. And it's because they don't want to admit the truth. They're getting caught embezzling money. They're getting caught all these other things, providing aid, and people, once again, guilt tripping us. And we're worried about what's on a freaking Bud Light can. It's not coincidence. This is psychological warfare, and we play it out every week in front of people, and they target us and censor us on purpose.
Ryan, for it to be psychological warfare, somebody would have to be involved in, like, Bud Light's decision, for example, to, if you're saying it's a distraction, somebody in the government would have to be involved in Bud Light to do that kind of thing. Like the CEO of Bud Light would have to be like a former CIA guy or something, you know?
Not to cross swords here. But Patrick Bet David actually played on his podcast about the whole Bud Light thing, about the woman they appointed with the whatever committee, and she openly said, this is what we're going for. This isn't like an accident. They leverage your income, and we're now seeing it. We're seeing what happens when we pay attention to things that don't matter. And people get caught up in an algorithm that force feeds you the very thing that you like to click on. Mm-hmm. You're never going to get different. Everybody's talking about open-mindedness, but everything you're consuming is just one ideology because it's fed through an algorithm. But then I'm supposed to believe that we can have common ground and talk about things.
Well, if you've been fed through to us, you're based AF, as the kids would say. Which
some would say we're extremists, David.
We'll talk about that on another show later this week. Thursday show? I think Thursday's show, we're going to talk about that. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, Ryan.
Well, before they take my head, Dave Ryan, Cyber 1773. Catch you guys Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube. David and I will be there. David, as always, appreciate you for your time. I'll catch everybody later.
Maybe YouTube. We don't know. But definitely Rumble. Make sure you're watching the Rumble. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ryan.
Later.